Welcome to This Week in the NFL Week 4 edition. Get ready for some garbage. A big battle for who's the biggest fraud in the NFC West turned out to be extremely mistake-prone, as neither team could truly shake off their fraud status. However, it was the Seahawks that turned out to be their lesser fraud, and their mistakes didn't really matter at the end of the day, as their field goal in the final seconds proved that the Cardinals were indeed who we thought they were. Man, the Seahawks could be so good if they didn't stop playing teams so close. Speaking of teams that play other teams so close, the Steelers actually played well in Ireland. Even a late Vikings rally couldn't be a difference maker. This puts the Steelers at 3-1 seriously, and with an AFC North title pretty much theirs for the taking. How does Tomlin, and Rodgers to a lesser extent, keep getting away with this? Let's just go ahead and get this game out of the way. The Lions just completely dismantled us, and we didn't even look like we belonged on the same field with them. At least Quinshon Judkins scored again, but this time our offense was so bad, Dylan Gabriel was named starter recently over Joe Flacco. Just don't look at how the news is covering Shader Sanders. Trust me, it's for the best if you don't know. Well, at least we put up way more of a fight than I thought we would, in the sense that I didn't expect us to lose by only 12. Jeez, this team is sad. Maybe we can beat the Giants next week, at least. Speaking of which, how are they doing? Oh, they put in Jackson Dart and he beat a previously undefeated Super Bowl favorite Chargers squad. Great. Anytime I have optimism for the Saints, it gets absolutely crushed like a bug like this. Good job, I guess, and enjoy your win next week. Now here's a really fun matchup between two unbeaten teams that don't seem like unbeatable teams. The Buccaneers are just lucky to escape most of their opponents, who are either broken or bad, while the Eagles are just straight up running on the 2024 Chiefs script. Philadelphia gets the better of it this time. But how long will it be before the Eagles lose? Only time will tell. Well, Carolina, I hate to say it, but you're not ready to face the bigger squads. I mean, you can't even play the Patriots without everything going kablooey in your face. Go try again against the Dolphins and do better this time. Hopefully. Alright, fellas, who's the real Falcons in here? Come on, guys, I want you to raise your hand. I mean, first you guys lost close, then you won big on that horrendous Sunday night football game, then you lost big and got shut out, and now this week you won close. That's not how the order goes. Well, at least you got a bye week to figure things out. Certainly you'll find your identity then, right? Or will you just mess this up like every other Falcons moment? Figures. The Texans had one goal and only one goal on their mind this week. Do not start 0-4. There would be so much talk in the media, they'd never live it down. But they're only regular broken, not Tennessee Titans level of broken. So they'll get their first win of the year. I think they can easily get their act together with an easier upcoming schedule and maybe better offensive line play. But who knows at this point. Who knew this would be a big game for different reasons other than, ooh, who's going to start 4-0? The Ravens might be completely cooked after this week, with a losing record now and Lamar out for possibly the entire season. But there's a good reason they didn't dance on the Chiefs' grave after week 2 after they started 0-2. They always come back and strike harder. They're inevitable. The question is, however, who's going to be the Iron Man? Let's analyze a few more exciting games. Firstly, are the Jaguars good? Their defense kind of reminds me of the Saxonville days with all the turnovers they generated this week. And they're now flying high with a statement win under their belt against the 49ers. But let's wait and see what they do against the Chiefs on Monday night to fully judge them. The Bears were extremely lucky that Josh Blackwell blocked that field goal because otherwise they're getting dunked on way more this week. Eshton Gianti had his first good game in the NFL, which must be real exciting to Raiders fans, but unfortunately that means absolutely nothing now. All there are in the NFL are wins and losses. The most exciting game in the late afternoon slate of games saw the Colts' are legit propaganda efforts getting undone by a Tutu? Well, Tutu Atwell to be more specific, but that's actually just as odd of a late game hero. I guess not all heroes wear capes, or are superstars in the NFL. Well, I have one more thing to say after that game. Adonai Mitchell, your days are numbered. especially after that Deshaun Jackson-like lowlight. And the winner of possibly the game of the year is no one. That's right, they couldn't even decide the winner for themselves. So they just took the tie and went home. There was a clear loser, however. Matt LaFleur, my man. What was that end of game management? A battle of the winless teams in Monday Night Football reveals that maybe the Dolphins aren't as bad as the Jets are. Who knew that throwing mediocre players on your roster doesn't exactly work out most of the time? Maybe Field should go check out the Vikings, or Buccaneers, or maybe the Seahawks, or maybe somewhere else other than the Jets, because he's not working out here. Yeesh, I knew Cincinnati would be down without Joe Burrow, but I didn't think they'd get this unwatchable this fast. I know it is your starting quarterback, but come on, 13 points throughout the last 2 games? I mean, at least the Reds made the playoffs. Rejoice. This week has been kind of weird. Besides Saints Bills, every game has either been really close or an absolute blowout. But anyway, here's 3 things that I learned this week. Number 1, special teams are still pretty special. This week we actually had 2 punt return touchdowns, continuing the big special teams plays trend. This has been a really fun past 2 weeks overall for special teams enthusiasts. Number 2, mostly everyone struggled unless they played truly broken teams. The Bills, Bears, Packers, Eagles, Steelers, Rams, and Seahawks all struggled this week. The 49ers and Chargers even lost against their opponents. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few weeks. And number 3, narratives will be reinforced around here. The Chargers are still the Chargers, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, the Packers are still the Packers, the Lions are still the Lions, and the Steelers are still the Steelers. Nothing changes around the NFL here, buddy. We have narratives to reinforce. Well, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, ring the bell, and don't forget about John 3:16. And I'll see you next time. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 12 through 13. For the word of God is alive and powerful. It is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God. Everything is naked and exposed before his eyes, and he is the one to whom we are accountable.